Today, I've got a mind-blowing theory to share with you. What if Nami's real name is actually Nerona Nami? There are numerous mysteries in One Piece about Nami's origins and her family tree. Recently, links to the Nerona family in the Oykot Kingdom have emerged. These theories might just open up a whole new world of One Piece that you've never known. And hey, if you've got a different take, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Just a heads up, this video includes spoilers up to chapter 1086, so proceed with caution. Let's dive right in. Meet Nami, the beautiful navigator of the Straw Hat Pirates, known as the Cat Burglar. But there's a mystery tied to her birth, which makes us wonder about her connection to Imu and the Nerona family. Nami once said, "I was found under a bridge." To that, Genzo said, "That's a lie," from Belle Marais. "When I was about to close my eyes and die, I saw Nojiko holding you." As Genzo, the resident officer of Kokoyashi Village, mentioned in episode 77, Nami was just 1 year old when she was found by Belle Marais, a former Marine, and taken in as a war orphan. It's also noted in Nami's Vivre card that she was found during a war in the Oykot Kingdom. However, that's about all we know about Nami's origins. Her family lineage and the full story of the Oykot Kingdom where she was found remain shrouded in mystery. So let's dive deeper into the Oykot Kingdom and Nami's lineage, piecing together what we know and exploring theories about her past. Nami, the character we all know and love, was found in the Oykot Kingdom. According to the Vivre card, it's a kingdom in the East Blue. Now, if Oykot Kingdom is indeed in the East Blue, it's quite an unusual nation. Well, Monkey D. Garp once said, "The weakest? Hardly. The East Blue is a symbol of peace." This was mentioned in the special bonus Chapter 0 of the movie Film Strong World. And true to his words, we've seen peaceful daily life in places like Luffy's home village of Fuchsia, the royal capital of the Goa Kingdom, Usopp's Syrup Village, and Zoro's Shimotsuki Village. So when you hear that a war was so intense in the Oykot Kingdom that it left 2 young girls orphaned at the ages of 3 and 1, and even Marines were battered, you know it's an outlier in the East Blue. Nami, hailing from the unique Oykot Kingdom, astonishingly batters Luffy, who should be immune to physical blows until he's bruised and bloody. This suggests that in the world of One Piece, Nami might possess the ability to use haki. Remember when she said, "Don't pamper me, Jinbe?" And Jinbe was like, "Whoa, is that Conqueror's haki?" In chapter 1058, Jinbe jokingly mistook Nami for someone with Conqueror's haki. This sparked a wildfire of speculation among fans on social media. Though it could be just a comedic element, remember how Zoro, initially suspected by the former Emperor Kato of having Conqueror's haki, actually turned out to have it? So, after such depictions in chapter 1058, the idea of Nami having Conqueror's haki isn't entirely off the table. Furthermore, Conqueror's haki seems to be hereditary, observed in Luffy's lineage, Roger's, and even Kato's. So, if Nami does possess this power, it hints at her family belonging to a line that bears Conqueror's haki, possibly even royal blood. The mysteries and abnormalities of her birthplace, Oykot, also suggest a connection between the secrets of Oykot and Nami's ancestry. Now, let's dive deeper into Nami's family background. I'm leaning towards the conclusion that Nami is from a royal family. Even more intriguing, I'm speculating that she might be related to the Celestial Dragons, possibly descending from one of the original 20 royal families. My reasoning is based on these 3 points. First, the commonalities between Nami and the princess or royals in the One Piece world. Second, the design elements hinting at her royal lineage. And third, the connection between Nami, Lion, and Sweden. Let's explore each of these reasons in detail. Alright folks, let's dive into that first evidence about Nami and her striking similarities with the princesses and the royalty in the world of One Piece. In One Piece, characters often follow a naming rule based on the category they belong to. For instance, the top brass of the Beast Pirates are named after playing cards. Big Mom's kin have names related to sweets. The 7 warlords of the sea and seraphims, they're named after animals. Now, let's look at the princesses. In Dressrosa, we have Princess Scarlet, named after Sam Britannia, and Viola, named after a type of violet. Rebecca is named after a kind of rose. Tantada's Princess Mancheri, that's from Mon Chéri, a kind of peony. Princess Shirahoshi of Ryukyu Kingdom is named after a cactus, and Princess Vivi from Alabasta, also named after a type of violet. So there's a clear pattern of naming princesses after flowers. And what about our dear Nami? Well, there's a rose variety named Unveiled Nami. So she fits right into this flowery naming pattern. But there's more. Remember episode 230, where Sanji was chasing a south bird and showed his distaste for bugs? Well, fast forward to episode 1067, and we see Bonnie, part of the worst generation, fainting at the sight of a swarm of bugs. Both Sanji from the royal Vinsmoke family of the Germa Kingdom and Bonnie, the daughter of former King Bartholomew Kuma of the Sorbet Kingdom, share this dislike for bugs. And guess what? Nami also hates bugs. Moreover, Nami shares a floral name category with the princesses and the bug-hating trait with Sanji and Bonnie, both with royal ties. This leads us to speculate that Nami might very well be of royal blood. Moving on to the second piece of evidence suggesting Nami's royal connections. It's all in the designs. In Chapter 671's cover, Nami is portrayed as Nami Dorella, dropping a glass slipper and running barefoot. This is a clear nod to Cinderella, who ends up marrying into royalty. Not to mention, Nami Dorella sports a crown. In Chapter 699's cover, we see the Straw Hat crew with a dragon. While the rest of the crew are dressed as knights, only Nami is depicted in a regal, princess-like outfit right next to Luffy, who's dressed as a king. And let's not forget Eiichiro Oda's comment in Volume 13, stating that dragons are creatures closest to gods. This cover art paints a picture of Luffy, aspiring to be the king of the sea, alongside a dragon, which is a godlike creature, and Nami in her princess attire. It is a complete coincidence that the god and the dragon, which hint at celestial dragons, and Nami, who seems to be a princess, are depicted together. Dear Nami, I've never met you before, but you're... What a relief. Shirahoshi. Really? Maybe it's because our circumstances are but similar. Nami. In Chapter 627, Shirahoshi, a princess herself, feels an inexplicable sense of comfort around Nami, mentioning that they share similar circumstances. Although one could argue that they both lost parents to fishermen and had restricted childhoods, it could also hint at Nami's royal heritage, like Shirahoshi. Remember, Shirahoshi isn't just a princess, she also inherits the title of Poseidon, a godlike entity. And when Nami and Shirahoshi meet, even the Sea Kings talk about whales rejoicing at the reunion of two kings, with a whale depicted smiling in their presence. Considering all these hints, it's not too far-fetched to speculate that Nami might belong to a royal family, and perhaps even have ties to the god. So there you have it. Nam could very well be a princess, or even more, a descendant of the divine celestial dragons. All right, folks, let's dive into the final piece of our puzzle about Nami, Lion, and Sweden in the One Piece world. Ta-da! Nami, it's ready! A haute couture from the Belle Marais brand. Belle Marais. That's what Belle Marais said in episode 77 when she made a dress for Nami, which, guess what, had a lion embroidered on it. Fast forward to episode 144, and we have Nami drawn as a dancer alongside Vivi, who's connected to the celestial dragons. And what's in the background? Ancient ruins shaped like a lion. But that's not all. In the cover of episode 263, Nami is rocking a t-shirt with a lion mark. And in episode 1026, Nami is seen making clothes for lions and cubs alongside Leo, who has ties to the Don Quixote family, a branch of the Celestial Dragons. Seems like the Nami-Lion combo, especially with those linked to the Celestial Dragons, is more than just a coincidence. Now, here's a kicker. Nami's associated country is Sweden, and what do we find on the Swedish flag? A lion. Plus, the Swedish royal palace is dotted with lion statues, symbolizing royalty. So when we see lions frequently associated with Nami, who is linked to Sweden, it hints that lions might represent royalty. Adding more to this, in episode 300, in a cover story series, we hear about Fairy Verth, a moon believed to be the original abode of the gods, targeted by Enel. And guess what? This moon has an ancient city sharing the same name as Enel's hometown, Bilka. But here's a fun fact. Bilka is actually the name of a real-life archaeological site in Sweden, dating back to the Viking era, a period that heavily inspired One Piece. Now, remember when Oda was asked what devil fruit Nami would eat if she had to? He said she'd get Rumble Rumble fruit, which is the same one as Enel, the self-proclaimed god. And Bilka, considered the abode of gods, exists in Sweden, Nami's image country. So Nami being frequently depicted with lions, a symbol of Swedish royalty in all these connections, makes you wonder if Nami could be of royal blood, possibly even from the lineage of the original 20 royal families, maybe even a family of gods. So far, we've theorized that Nami could be of royal blood, possibly even from the lineage of the original 20 royal families, the celestial dragons. Now, let's delve into the next 4 elements surrounding Nami. 1. Her control over Zeus as a partner. 2. The cover stories of episodes 81 and 845. 3. The connection between the Straw Hat and Nami. And 4. The existence of Anne, Nami's original concept. Looking at these, it's highly probable that Nami could belong to the same family as Imu. Could she be a descendant of the Nerona family? Let's explore. Firstly, let's talk about Nami's partnership with Zeus. In episode 890, Nami transforms Zeus, a thundercloud, into her servant, and by episode 1081, she's completely tamed him. Zeus, named and capable just like the omnipotent Greek god who controls thunder, is now under Nami's command. This means that Nami is followed by an existence who has the name of a god. This situation is somewhat parallel to Imu, who reigns over the self-proclaimed gods, the celestial dragons, and the highest authority, the 5 elders. Next, we dive into that second element, the cover stories of episodes 81 and 845. In episode's 81 cover story, we see Nami, Nojiko, and Belle along with a dog enjoying lunch. Notably, young Nami and the dog are the only ones eating spaghetti. Underneath the dog, there's a cardboard with Mandarin written on it. This could suggest a link between Nami and Imu. Mandarin can mean commander or leader. During the Qing dynasty in China, bureaucrats known as mandarins held leadership roles. Also in English, Mandarin implies a commander or leader. So could this cover story be hinting at Nami being a leader? Of course, since Belle owns an orange grove, Mandarin could simply refer to the Mandarin orange variety. It might seem like a stretch, but there are instances where characters and text in cover stories foreshadow future events. For example, episode 421's cover story, Robin is playing billiards with a koala. Nearby, there are billiard balls with the numbers 3, 5, and 8. During the 2-year training, Robin spent time with the Revolutionary Army, notably with Sabo, Koala, and Hack, matching the numbers and characters perfectly. Moreover, in episode 124's cover story, Sanjay is depicted with a secret sticker, with a sticker above it bearing the number 1830. Interestingly, 1830 was the year of a revolution in France, Sanjay's image country, and the last year a king was used. Sanjay indeed had a secret closely tied to his birth and significant to the story. So this seemingly minor text might be a significant foreshadowing for the future. Furthermore, in episode 845's cover story, Nami is sitting like a queen on a chair with 5 cats tending to her. I understand as the creator of the world wishes. St. Marcus, Mars. This imagery links to Imu, the supposed creator of the world who sits on the empty throne and is served by the 5 elders. These cover stories subtly hint at Nami being connected to a world leader. All right, folks, let's dive into our third point, the iconic Straw Hat and Nami. Remember that scene from episode 81 where Luffy places his precious straw hat on Nami? Luffy, help me. Nami's plea. And Luffy's reply? Of course! Monkey D. Luffy. Now, it's not just Nami who's had the honor of wearing Luffy's hat. Usopp and Robin have too. Usopp held on to it during the Davy Back fight when Luffy sported an afro. And Robin? Before joining the crew, she used her powers to swipe it from Luffy. But here's the thing. Nami's the only one Luffy personally placed his hat on. There's more. Nami repaired the hat after Buggy's attack and even stitched a Vivre card into it. She's pretty much the Straw Hat's keeper. But wait, there's a twist. Even Imu, shrouded in mystery, seems to be looking after a giant straw hat in Pangaea Castle. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is there a hidden connection between Nami and Imu? Now let's talk about the fourth point, Nami's origins. Ever heard of Romance Dawn? It's the one-shot manga, considered the blueprint for One Piece. The character Anne from this work, she bears striking similarities with Nami, from her outfit to her looks. Coincidence? I think not. Remember when Vivi said in episode 130, "This person, she doesn't just predict the weather theoretically, it's as if she feels it with her body." Nami's got this uncanny ability to feel the weather, almost like she's in tune with it. As explained earlier, the abilities and names of One Piece characters are based on myths from around the world. In Mesopotamian mythology, there's a weather god named An. And guess what? Nami's initial concept, Anne, aligns perfectly with her weather-controlling abilities. The plot thickens. An is the child of a god named Anshar, who in turn is the offspring of the primordial sea deity Tiamat, a symbol of creation. Ring any bells? Imu, perhaps? Flip Imu name and you get Umi, Japanese for sea, linking back to Tiamat. But there's more. Tiamat is also known as Umu. Sounds a bit like Emu, right? And Tiamat's not your typical deity. Some say a dragon, others a bringer of floods. Suppose from these circumstances that the model for Emu is Tiamat, who is said to have taken the form of a dragon. Then it might explain why the celestial dragon's under Emu. And Nami, when spelled backwards in Roman letters, means I'm on, tying back to the weather god An. So here's the theory. Emu equals Tiamat. The descendants Emu, who are the people of the Nerona family, equals Tiamat's child Anshar. Nami equals Anshar's child An. Connecting all these dots, it's not too far-fetched to speculate that Nami could be a descendant of Emu, and from the Nerona family. We've been diving deep into the theory that Nami is a descendant of the mysterious Emu, belonging to the Nerona family lineage. Imagine this, the world's creator, Emu, has Nami as a descendant. But wait, could the Nerona family, related to Emu, actually exist in the Oykot Kingdom, or even the lower realms? That's a burning question, isn't it? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and explore this possibility by examining three key elements. 1. The difference between celestial dragons with unique speech patterns and those without. 2. The current status of the Nerona family apart from Emu. And 3. The possibility of becoming a celestial dragon from being a human. Let's break it down one by one. First up, the difference between celestial dragons with unique speech patterns and those without. Celestial dragons, descendants of the original 20 who imagined this world, can now be categorized into two groups. Take St. Carlos, for example, saying things like Mufufun and Carulia, even Father, where did you go leaving me behind? The first category includes those who end their sentences with a or de, who use wachiki as a first-person pronouns. Those like St. Carlos and St. Roswald with sport-unique hairdos resembling top knots, typically celestial dragon. Similarly, celestial dragons with a distinctive way of speaking Emu, who also use the special first-person nu and second-person nuzia. Then there's the second category, like the Five Elders or St. Garling from God's Knights without any speech quirks. So what's behind the difference? The Don Quixote family gives us a clue. Take St. Don Quixote Homing, who chose to become a human, and St. Don Quixote Mosgard, inspired by Queen Otohime of Ryukyu Kingdom to do the same. After becoming human, their speech lost the typical celestial dragon quirks of ending sentences with e or using washiki. It seems when they believed themselves to be gods, their speech had these quirks. But recognizing themselves as human, their speech normalized. This is also evident in the Five Elders, who likely know Emu's true identity and don't consider themselves gods, hence their regular way of speaking. The same goes for the Knights of God, who probably know Emu's identity. From this, we can deduce that a celestial dragon's speech is linked to their self-perception as gods. And regular celestial dragons, like St. Carlos with their distinct speech, thinks they are the god. Probably they don't know about the true creator, Imu. Now, let's tackle the second element, the current state of the Nerona family, excluding Imu. We've explored the possibility that most celestial dragons, aside from the Knights of God and the 5 elders, might not even be of Imu's existence. So what about the people of the Nerona family, Imu's own bloodline? Are they just living in Marijois, oblivious to Imu's existence like regular celestial dragons? The conclusion can be said that no one from the Nerona family is in Marijois. If the Nerona family spawns a deity-like figure, Imu, it wouldn't be far-fetched to assume they'd hold some special status among celestial dragons. Yet, in chapter 1086, when the names of the 5 elders were mentioned, not a single one carried the Nerona surname. Moreover, the supreme commander of the Knights of God hails from the Figerland family. If there were Nerona family members in the Knights of God, they'd be subordinates to the Figerlands. It seems unlikely that relatives of Imu, an absolute authority, would serve under someone else. So, it's plausible they're not part of the Knights of God either. If any Nerona family members did survive as celestial dragons, it's most likely they're living as ordinary ones without any power. But think about it. If there were Nerona family members among ordinary celestial dragons, it's weird they haven't tried to usurp Imu's position or keep his existence a secret due to their blood connection. In fact, for the secrecy and safety of Imu's position, having Nerona family members around would be risky and inconvenient. Considering Imu's existence is known to very few, and he has reigned for over 800 years, it suggests that Imu has completely eliminated such risks. Therefore, I speculate that the Nerona family members might have been eradicated from Marijois. Let's dive into the final element, the possibility of transforming from a human to a celestial dragon. If the Nerona family members are no longer in Marijois, we're left with a puzzle. The number of royal families among the celestial dragons is said to be 19. How does that add up if the Neronas are gone? The hints to this conundrum lie in the words of King Sterry in chapter 905 and Vegapunk York in chapter 1078. I want connections to the nobility. Someday I want to become a celestial dragon. King Sterry. Hey Stella, you know what? I'm going to become a celestial dragon. York. Notice that King Sterry expresses a desire, while York talks about a future certainty. Neither Garp nor Vegapunk Stella dismisses their statements as impossible. This, coupled with Ivankov's remarks about immorality in chapter 1086, leads us to an intriguing possibility. Somewhere in this world, there might be a family that has indeed transformed from human to celestial dragon and proven it. Now, you might think marrying a celestial dragon could be a ticket to becoming one, but considering St. Carlos discarded his wife back to being a human the moment he got bored, it's probably not that simple. In chapter 1086, Ivankov mentions 800 years ago in this world of chaos, there was a king among the original 20. From the Nerona family, the Saint Imu. Also, Ivankov and Cobra King seems aware of Imu's existence, having learned about it from texts. The book Ivankov shows Sabo appears to have the word Genesis inscribed on it. Genesis, meaning the origin or creation, likely refers to a text about the 20 people who crafted the book. This book could be similar to the book of Genesis in the Bible, the world's most widely read book. It wouldn't be surprising if Genesis held a similar stature in the world of One Piece. Let's hypothesize that Genesis details a family that replaced the Neronas as celestial dragons. That would explain why figures like King Sterry and Vegapunk York harbor aspirations to become celestial dragons. So here's a possible past. 800 years ago, when the world government was established, Imu, to protect his position in secrecy, turned the entire Nerona family into humans and exiled them. A new royal family was chosen to replace them as celestial dragons in Marijois. All these events are documented in Genesis, and those who've read it know that becoming a celestial dragon is possible. This way, any trace of the Nerona family and Saint Emu's existence could be erased, ensuring Emu's safety. Emu has reigned for 800 years without his existence being known. The absence of Nerona family members in special positions and the existence of people aspiring to become celestial dragons, all the pieces start to fit. From the connection between Emu, the celestial dragons, and Nami, to the enigmatic aspects of the Nerona family, it's plausible that the descendants of the Nerona family, blood relatives of Emu, were turned into humans after the Void Century. And one of those descendants could very well be Nami. Imagine if Nami is a descendant of the Nerona family. That would mean she's related to Emu, the so-called god and creator of the world. This revelation could unravel many mysteries about Nami. 1. Her connection to Anne, a character from a one-shot story considered to be Nami's prototype. 2. The enigma of the war in Oykot, her birthplace. 3. Her exceptional weather-related abilities. 4. Her control over Zeus, being named after an almighty god. 5. Hints that she might possess the Conqueror's Haki. These pieces fall into place beautifully. Let's speculate that Nami's weather-related powers and her potential Haki come from the Nerona bloodline. This could be key to uncovering the full extent of Emu's powers. Currently, many believe Emu possesses Zoan-type devil fruit powers. But if Nami's abilities are a gift from the Nerona blood, it suggests that Emu's powers might be inherent to their bloodline, making it possible that Emu isn't a devil fruit user. Moreover, even in distant seas you are born, the whales rejoice the day the two kings will meet again, Sea Kings. The Sea Kings in chapter 968 hinted at a reunion of two kings, which many assume to be Shirahoshi and Luffy. But Luffy isn't a born king, nor does he come from a royal lineage. So could the two kings refer to Nami and Shirahoshi, both potentially bearing Emu's blood? Now, you might wonder, if Nami is of Nerona descent, could she end up opposing the Straw Hats? I believe Nami will stand with Luffy and his crew. Consider this. 800 years ago, Queen Lily, who was part of the Allied nations, might have betrayed them, and she also bore the initial D. So, Nami, with Nerona blood, could join forces with Luffy, confronting Emu, the descendant of their common enemy, in a final showdown. The era could shift from Joy Boy to Luffy, and from Emu to his kin, Nami. Nami, a descendant of Emu who ruled the world for centuries after the Void Century. Luffy inheriting the will of Joy Boy, opposing that rule. Their union could mark the true end of a conflict that's lasted over 900 years. So, that's my take on it. What do you all think? That's all for today. The channel posts summaries, explanations, and ranking videos related to One Piece. If you like One Piece, we would be happy if you could support us by subscribing to our channel and commenting. Thank you for watching till the end. We'll see you in the next video.